Hi everyone, how are you? Fine, right? I am fine too. So in this tutorial session, I will teach you about Oracle exceptions. Okay. Before that, I want to introduce my channel, YouTube channel, that is Oracle, that is RK Soft Academy. Okay. So this RK Soft Academy, in my YouTube channel, I uploaded video for different technologies on Oracle. Okay. So I have uploaded some videos on Oracle SQL, that is structured query language, and introduction to database management system, Oracle DBMS. This is the part 1, and introduction to DBMS part 2. So if you visit my video, you will get the knowledge about the Oracle database management system. What is Oracle database management system? uh, how it is important and how it is can be designed, yeah, and how companies use the database management system for developing their business applications. Okay, so this is the DBMS part 1, that is database management system part 1, and this is the database management system part 2. So these are two videos. If you visit these two videos, you will have a basic understanding about the database management system, who have no understanding about the DBMS. Okay, so as I said, I already uploaded video for Oracle SQL. You just watch it, and what are Oracle SQL and why it is being used to communicate with the Oracle database, how it is being used. You will get everything information and learning by watching these videos. Okay, and I have also uploaded two videos for Oracle constraints, so you can watch these two videos. This is the first part, Oracle constraint, and you will get to learn all the constraints used in Oracle, why Oracle constraints are important, and how this constraint can be implemented in the developing business applications. Okay, and this is the second part of Oracle constraints, that is the application of Oracle constraints. So in this video, you will learn how you can apply each of Oracle constraints in detail in the uh, business application. Okay, so about other videos, I have uploaded a videos for Oracle PLSQL complete programming. So you can watch this out to know about the Oracle PLSQL programming, and I will upload more videos on PLSQL programming as I regularly uploads. Okay, and this is the Oracle cursor. This video is for Oracle cursor. If you want to know about everything about the Oracle cursor, it is explained in this video. So why Oracle cursor, what is Oracle cursor, why it is important, and how we can use the Oracle cursor, and how we can process records using Oracle cursor in your PLSQL program. Okay, so that you learn everything about the cursor and you can implement in your Oracle project. So watch my all videos. You will must learn something about the Oracle technologies, and you will get also new information about each of the Oracle part. Okay, so uh, after that, I want to introduce myself. I am Robin, and I have total of 16 years of software development experience using Oracle technologies like Oracle SQL, Oracle PLSQL, Oracle Forms and Reports, using Oracle Forms and Reports business application development, and also in Unix shell scripting. So I have used all these Oracle technologies and also Unix technologies in my career, software development career. So I started my career as a software developer, and then I reached to the position of technical consultant, then product implementer, come system consultant. Then I reaches to position team lead. Then I reaches to the position of tech lead. Then I was a senior system analyst, and also I reaches to the position of project manager in different IT companies over my 16 years of software professional experiences. Okay, and all my experiences in Oracle technologies, using all these Oracle technologies, as I told. So also the Unix technologies, and I am providing professional training programs. I am conducting professional training programs. Also, each of the Oracle technologies, like complete professional program for Oracle structured query language, that is Oracle SQL, complete program for Oracle PLSQL programming, complete program for Oracle database architecture and database design, complete professional program for Oracle Forms and Oracle Reports, that is used for commercial business application. And Oracle has the graphics user interface to design the business application, that is Oracle Forms. And you can generate quality reports using the Oracle Reports. So that is used for client server business application, and that is very much demanded skill. So also apart from this, I provide training programs for Unix shell scripting. So anybody interested to join my training programs, just comment below the video, below in this video, or you can comment me, or uh, which training program you want to join, or uh, whatever in which topic you want to see my video. You can just comment over below in my video. So I'll try to make the video and upload here for your free training or learning purpose. Okay, so after that I am going to my topic for today's session, that is Oracle exceptions. Okay, so and before that I am just want to say that if you like my video, just give me a like, or if you want to comment about my video, you can comment over there in below section of my video. After watching each video, you can comment over there, so that I can understand you will learn something, or you will getting some new things, or you will you are just learning the concept and finding interest in my teaching way. Okay, so actually I wanted to teach in very easy way, and with the easy explanation and examples, so that all people can understand uh, well in the Oracle technologies. So the candidates or professionals and job seekers can take my professional programs and join my professional programs to make their career in the Oracle technologies and database technologies. Okay, and it is very much demanded in many companies, because many companies frequently recruit a database architect or database designer, or Oracle SQL developer, or PLSQL developer, or Oracle developer, or Oracle Forms and Reports developer. And Unix has the demand also, because Unix is the main database administration. We can manage our database server using Unix commands and all the features of Unix. So Unix has a very great demand. If you learn Unix, you can uh, mm, work as a Oracle DBA, also Unix server administration. Okay, so that being said, I am just going to my topic. today's topic. So today's topic is Oracle exceptions. So we'll cover in today's topic, we'll cover the following sections. I am just uh, writing here, opening the Notepad++. Okay. Okay. So today's topic are what is exception, why it is important, how many types of Oracle exceptions, what are system defined exceptions, when it occurs, how we can implement it with example. Okay. Number 5 is what are user defined exception, and when it is required, and how we can implement it. Okay. And finally we'll discuss about the Oracle predefined exceptions. Okay, so I'll move one by one. Okay, so first we have to understand what is exception. Okay, right. Okay, so an error condition during the program execution, it is called an exception. So what is an exception? An error condition. So I am writing. Okay, so what is exception? Exception is an error condition during the program execution. Okay, so what is the program? That is a PLSQL program. So whenever a PLSQL block of program is executes, if any error condition happens or if any error occurs, so that error is called exception. Okay, so uh, how we can handle this exception? We have to know how we can handle this exception. Okay, so before that, why it is important to handle? Because uh, uh, it is important because if any database internal error is occurs, or if any other error occurs, so we will not process the next of the will not we the program will not execute next part of the uh, PLSQL block. Okay, so whenever an exception occurs in between any PLSQL block, if any exception occurs, it will not move forward to execute it completely, and it will raise a error. So that error condition we can catch through the exception block in the PLSQL program. So this exception we can catch using exception block. Okay, so we can catch this error condition using the exception block. Okay, so this error condition we can catch using the exception block. Okay, so so that we can take the appropriate action against the error condition. Why we should uh, catch that exception? Because we have to take the appropriate action against that error condition. Okay, that is the importance of uh, catching the Oracle exception. Okay, so now we'll see how many types of exception are there. First one is system defined exception, and second one is user defined exception. Okay, so these two types of exception are there in Oracle PLSQL programs. So we have to know now what are system defined exceptions and what are user defined exceptions. Before that, we will see how a PLSQL program block is look like with an exception block. Okay, so how a PLSQL program look like? So I'm writing the block of PLSQL program with an exception block. So we have to first declare. Here declaration section are there. So we'll declare the declaration section. Then we'll start begin. Here the executable statement will be there. Okay, and there is a one end for this PLSQL block, and before end we will write our exception block to catch the exception. Okay, so in the exception block here, when exception 1, then statement 1, when exception 2, then statement 2. And by default we have to put here when others. Why? Because if the error condition not fall in any exception we have defined in the exception section, it will go to the last and it will raise the other. Okay, okay, this is the building block of a PLSQL program with the exception block. Fine, understood? Okay, right. Now I will show you how we can implement it and how we can catch the system defined exception and implement it in our PLSQL real time program. Okay, so I'm opening SQL Plus. Okay, so okay, so we have to before that we have to understand the system defined exceptions. Okay, so system defined exceptions are the exception which are raised by the Oracle itself for an internal database error. Okay, what are system defined exceptions? System defined exceptions are raised by the Oracle itself when an database error occurred internally. Okay, so I am writing here the system defined exception are raised by the database server. Okay, when an internal database error occur. Okay, so a system defined exceptions are raised when by the database server, Oracle database server, when an internal database error occur. Okay, so how we can implement that, and what are the examples of some system defined exceptions. Some system defined exceptions are like not, no, data, found. This is very common system defined exceptions. So we'll now see how we can implement this in our PLSQL program when it will raise, and how we can handle this system defined exception. So I'm going to Oracle SQL Plus. So I'm writing a PLSQL program here to show how the our system defined exception raise and how we can handle it. Okay, so I'm writing. So we have our tables like an employee table. So let's see, select star from employee. Okay, so we have our employee table with these records, 14 records. So now we'll make a PLSQL program for to see the system defined exceptions, how it is occurring. Okay, so declare, I'm writing here one PLSQL block. So employee number I'm declaring as a variable as empno, that is next is ename, and we'll take one column department number. Okay, and I'm assigning here a value 40. Okay, now I will start the begin. So I'll fetch the record, select star from employee, where dptno equal to vdptno. Okay, okay, I have to modify here because we are taking only two columns. So I'm just taking two columns here. Select empno, ename, into. So I'm selecting empno and ename into our variables. Okay, from employee table where department number is, we have initialized the department number for 40. Okay, so now we are printing a message with dbms output dot put line bms underscore output dot put underscore line. Okay, I have completed the PLSQL program. So I am taking variables of three variables of employee number, employee name, and department number. I have initialized the department number as 40, and I am fetching the records from employee table with the department number as initialized. Select employee number, employee EMPNO name into this variable VEMPNO VE name from employee where department number, this is the department number, equal to our department number. Okay, so now I am printing the employee number and the employee name here with the dbms output dot put line. Okay, so if any exception occurs in this process or in this block execution, it will go into the exception section, and if there is no data found, it is a system defined exception as I told earlier. So if this exception occurs, then it will print this message invalid employee number. Okay, and this is the default message we have to put here. If other than the system defined exception, if any other uh, exception occurs which are not, I am not defining here, which are not declaring here, if any other error occurred, then it will move to the other section. Okay, and it will show the message like error. Okay, so now I am running here. So let's see, we have initialized 40. Okay, so in the department table, as we see, if we see the department number, department employee table, the department number is we have seen no 40 is there. Okay, 10, 20, 30. Okay, no 40, no department number with 40 is there exist. So here no data found will be raised by the Oracle internally by the Oracle. Okay, so that's why it is printing, it is coming here to execute this select statement. It is coming this exception section, and it is getting no data, or no data found, exception is raised by the Oracle internally, and so it is printing this message, invalid employee number, as you have seen here. Okay, so this is the implementation of the Oracle system defined exception. Okay, so you understood? Okay, right? Okay, so I'm moving forward to next, that is user defined exception. So what is user defined exception? Okay, so what is user defined exception? User defined exception explicitly defined by the user and explicitly raised by the user whenever it is required. Okay, so the user defined exception explicitly raised by the user when it is required. So user defined exception are explicitly declared and raised. So user defined exceptions are explicitly declared and raised by the user when it is required. Suppose in a PLSQL block, any condition is not matching, or you are validate any condition, so that condition is not matching. Okay, so in that case you can raise your user defined exception, whatever you declared as an exception. Okay, so it is basically handles the business logic. To handle the business logic, this user defined exception are used basically. Okay, so now I will show you how the user defined exception is uh, can be implemented in our PLSQL program. Okay, so I'm going to the SQL prompt again. So I'll write another PLSQL block for showing you the result of user defined exception, how it can be raised and how it can be handled. Okay, so I'm writing here declare. So here for user defined exception, we have to declare explicitly our exception. Let's say our exception name is my exception. Okay, So we have to declare it in the declared section. So my exception, that is exception. Okay, now we'll start begin. Now I will check first the employee number. Okay, if less than equal 0, then we'll raise our exception using the raise command. So user defined exception is raised by the raise command. Okay, so raise my exception, or else we will select employee name dptno from employee I have to take it in variable empno ename. Okay, into no, I'm initializing here mpno. So I have to take ename and dptno, right, into our variable where empno equal to vmpno. Okay, now if it is successful, this select statement is getting record fetched record successfully, we can print here dbms output dot put underscore line empno emp name and dpt vdpt. Okay, so these two will print. Okay, employee name and department number will be printed. So I will print if here if condition I have ended here. Now I have to write the exception block. So when no data, so we will first raise our user defined exception. Let's when my exception, then we'll print invalid employee not correct employee number. Okay, check. So when I have to use also system defined exception, we'll write here no such employee. Okay, if not matches, if not employee exist. So you have to write proper message, no such employee. Okay, and finally when others, then just error. So I'm ending the block here. Okay, so I'm explaining the program again. So I'm declaring here employee number with the ampersand ENO. That means it will ask for employee number from the user to input the employee number. Okay, so this ampersand is used for that purpose. It will ask for the employee number from the user to input the employee number. Now we have taken variable employee name and for department also, and this is my user defined exception. So this is the exception name and this is exception user defined. So if my input, if my whatever user input I that will come, that will check here what the value of the user input will be checked here. If that is less than 0, then it will raise the user defined exception, or else it will fetch the employee name and department number and it will print the employee name and department number here. So whenever this exception raised, so it will just, whenever our user defined exception is raised, it will just come to the exception section and it will raise this exception. When my exception, then it will print not correct employee number, please check. Okay, and when no data found means if select statement have no have found no data, then it will come to the no data found, as I explained in the earlier example. So it will print this message. Okay, I'm running the program here. Now let's see, I put here 10, I put here first 0. Okay, so So I have to modify here to put here 0. Okay, I have make some mistake maybe. Let's check again. To 20 v department number 10 my exception. Okay, begin emp. So you are saying a quoted string not properly terminated. Maybe there one uh, character mistake or anything silly mistake is there. Let me check. Okay, actually the employee number is number. So exception. Okay, exception. Okay, I have raised my exception. Select name and department number. Okay, I have missed the from clause here from employee. Okay, let's run it. I'm giving value 0. Okay, here I missed one upper quote. Okay, okay, right now it is successfully completed. Okay, so here see here my user defined exception is my exception. So my exception is raised here, so that it comes to this portion and it is printing this message. Okay, not correct employee number, please check. Okay, so by this way we can define our own exception and we can raise according to our business logic. So I think you have understood the user defined exceptions with the implementation as I shown you by this example, and also the system defined exceptions I have shown before. Okay, so uh, whatever else we need to discuss in this section, let's check. So yeah, we have discussed the user defined and system defined exceptions, and number 6 is Oracle predefined exceptions. So as we said earlier, some system defined exceptions, in the implementation of system defined exceptions we have used no data found, that is Oracle predefined exception. And there are many predefined exceptions also are there, like when no data, that is no data found, too many rows, row type mismatch. I'm writing all the system defined exceptions which are very important and it can be handled in our exception block. So no data found, too many rows, row type mismatch. Another is do well in index. Next one is collection is null. Next one is cache not found. Next one is invalid cursor. Next is invalid number. Next is login denied. Next is not logged on. Next is program error. Next is value error. Next is zero divide. Okay, so these are the main system defined exceptions in the Oracle database, which are defined internally and which are raised automatically with the Oracle when a database error occurred. So these are the main system defined exceptions. Okay, so that's all for this today's session about Oracle exceptions. I think you have understood well about all the Oracle expressions and how what is Oracle expression, how it is important, and how many types of Oracle expressions are there, what are system defined exceptions, and when it is occurred, and how it can be implemented, and what are user defined exceptions, when it is, why it is required, and how we can implement it in our practical real life project. Also, we have known all the system defined exceptions exist in the Oracle database. Okay, so that's all for today's session. Hope you enjoyed this session and you have learned many things in this session in detail. If you learned in detail about Oracle exception, and if you get benefited from this video or tutorial, you just give a like and subscribe my channel, and if you can comment over below the video if you have any comment on this video. Okay, so that's all. Just keep watching my YouTube channel RK Soft Academy. I'll uploaded new videos on several topics of Oracle database, Oracle technologies. So keep watching my YouTube channel and like my video if you get some knowledge from my video. And also what topic you want my video, you just comment below and write there on which topic you want to see my video. Okay, so subscribe my channel. So that's okay. That's all from the for today's session. Okay, so thank you very much for watching my video, and bye.